Well, last week in the adventure that is Digital Humanities, we explored Flickr, which is really a pretty interesting photo tool that is something I haven't had a lot of experience with before. And it was really good to get an overview of it because while I've heard of it, really it's just another one of the uninstalled applications that I have on my BlackBerry, and I really didn't know what all it was about. We explored a couple of interesting applications for education, such as photo storytelling, which is what my group had. And I thought it was really interesting the decision to not use captions and to have the photo tell the story. And really, I have some trouble understanding the why as to that, because it really doesn't make sense to me because you're not capturing the students' literacy skills. Really, all you're having them do is put four or five photos in order and letting them guess. So to me, that activity, not really useful. Much like VoiceThread, I thought that there are a lot of really good applications that we can do as far as having students share experiences, particularly when they're absent, or maybe with a field trip, or if they've gone on a family vacation or something, and really be able to share with the rest of the class. It's also a really great way to get to know students, maybe to have them create their own life story, autobiography, whatever, in a couple of different slides. But I really think that for that application, VoiceThread is probably a better tool, and I'm really struggling to come up with anything that Flickr is the better tool for. Like I said, I'm really skeptical as far as what we can do with this. I think that it's very interesting to think about, because I can definitely use it like to organize my own photos and to share them with friends and family. But once again, Facebook is another application that does share photos, and to me, it's one less login to remember. I'm definitely having login overload with all the different software suites that we've been using and all the different passwords that I've had to create this year. So I'm really not sure that I'll be using Flickr. There are a lot of constraints that I've experienced being in the public schools, and I'm in what I would consider a fairly good school, and a lot of what I have I don't know that Flickr would really work. We do have classroom sets of the laptops, laser printer, wireless internet in the whole school, but I actually tried. Flickr was blocked, as is WordPress and YouTube and really many of the other sites that we've been taught to use. So that's going to be something that I'll adjust with, and I've heard from Charlie that it is pretty easy to work with the network people to get them to change the permissions on sites like that. But I don't really know with all those constraints that Flickr is really a battle that is worth me fighting. I think that there are some things I can do with it, which I'll get into in just a second, but really I'm probably not going to use it in my classroom. What I am really excited about, though, is I see Flickr sort of as a library, and with the amazing number of photos and users that there are, and the vast majority of them, at least that I've looked at, being in the public domain, it's definitely a great way to get photos for photo storytelling in class, to get students engaged. You can include them in your lecture notes if I'm at a school where I've got an LCD projector and can use PowerPoint. So it's a really great way to bring some stuff in. I see a lot of applications for it with geography. Different places where I've been, I can share my own photos, but places where I haven't, I can use somebody else's. I think that's going to be a really great thing to be able to do. I am still kind of uncertain as far as fair use, and I know which photos you can use and can't use, but as far as the ethics and everything with it, fair use and the public domain, I guess it sounds really simple, but to me it still seems like a little bit of an ethical minefield, and I really want to make sure that I do set the best example possible for my students. That's something that I'd like to get the opportunity to learn a little bit more about as we go on this semester. That's really all that I have for Flickr. Interesting site. I'm glad that I was exposed to it. But as far as my classroom, I really don't see myself using it very much. But once again, I am glad that I got to get to know what it's about, And it's another tool that I can pull out of my teacher's toolbox in the future, should I run across an application where I think it would be a great fit. That's all for now.